What's up, Steve? Here we
Yeah.
go. Another episode.
CopBlock Radio. Hey, we're live. It's the last day of September. Wednesday, September 30th, 2015. I'm Derek J.
And
You can watch this show at copblock.org/show. There's a chat room there. There's a webcam. You can get interactive and call us at 413-418-COPS or by Skyping into the show at CopBlock Radio. And across the intertubes, we've got Dio and Severin. Hey, guys.
What's up, everybody? You seem in a very good mood today, Derek. You just have an extra pep in your stuff, you know.
I'm chipper.
Yeah.
I got checked. See this armband? I got checked for AIDS today. I don't have it. Sorry to everyone who does. But anyway, it's a good practice to get checked regularly, and that's why I'm wearing this fancy little band. Isn't that cute?
Nice.
So everything's good in the hood here. We've got a bunch of stories from copblock.org to share, and you, Severin, had a pretty exciting week this week, right?
Oh yeah, it's been a great week. It's been a historic week up here. We had Keen CopBlock's J.P. Freeman and his wife Jess come out here, and we met up with about 6 other CopBlock groups on the East Coast, and we had a really good time. It must have been one of the most fun protests ever.
Woo!
And, if you wanted a little bit, I'll play a little clip of it of us singing outside the police station. It was a good time. I mean, we just being around that many CopBlockers and just enjoying ourselves and laughing, and we were there for a serious reason, but we enjoyed it. It was good to be around like-minded people and to have that much backup, and it just looked awesome with that many shirts. There were about 20 of us. That many CopBlock shirts walking down the street was just. People were literally moving out of the way, thinking we were gangs.
Wow. How did that
feel, man?
It felt really good. I mean, just what's the word I'm looking for? Camaraderie. The just feeling of being around like-minded people, and just everybody came for a solid purpose, but we were just enjoying it.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's rad. Hey, are any videos up yet?
Yeah, actually, I was going to let me send you a link, because this will be a CopBlock Radio exclusive, because it is not publicly released to my channel yet.
Awesome.
I had too many videos go up in a row, so I'm holding this one off. But we'll take a quick peek at it. It'll be a little exclusive for us. How's your week been, Dia?
Pretty good. Did a lot of work over the weekend and stuff, and got caught up on a lot of work I had left over doing from last week, and been good. Took a little camping trip.
Did you have any police encounters?
And no, I was not contacted by the government.
No. Wait till you see this, Derek. We got a new.
I was actually lucky that I wasn't contacted by the government, because I'm not sure that what I did was exactly 100% what you would call legal. So I kind of just walked into the woods and set up a camp and just stayed there overnight.
You mean,
why would that not be legal? What is wrong with just?
I don't know, but I just thought perhaps a park ranger or something might come up or something. So like I was very pleased when that didn't happen.
No, I agree. I know why that wouldn't be legal. It was more of a rhetorical. Like, it just seems ridiculous that people have to worry to put up a tent and relax and just kick back.
Never mind that. But suppose I was truly homeless.
Well, it's a crime in a lot of states now. I think
That's
California is one of them, isn't it, Derek?
Florida was where I saw a lot of stuff. Florida and South Carolina.
It depends. The cops are dicks about like people hanging out on the sidewalk, or they can be. There's an ordinance about like sitting on the sidewalk. You're not allowed to do that, apparently. So it's a way for them to harass homeless people. But here where I am in San Francisco, the police pretty much leave the homeless alone. They're a fixture here.
Where was it? Was it Florida that preacher got himself arrested? The 89-year-old preacher. and
Yeah.
he said, "I don't care. I'm going to keep feeding the homeless."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Florida, but I'm pretty sure there was a story out of either South Carolina or Tennessee where the police were like actually cutting people's tents, like destroying their shelters and stuff.
Really, that is terrorism. That is
Hmm.
just blatant terrorism right there.
That was in Pensacola. That was in Florida.
Was it?
Yeah, there were some
Okay.
homeless who were camping out on what is now known as Satoshi Forest. An activist. He's not directly associated with CopBlock, but his name's Jason King, and he's a Bitcoiner. Started a charity called Sean's Outpost, and it's funded in Bitcoin. And with that Bitcoin, he actually purchased a forest, like 9 acres of land, that he's like, hey, homeless people, you got nowhere to live? You can live on my land, and then the police can't bother you because you live here, right? So
Mhm.
it's privately owned property, and the cops can't bother him there, apparently. So they've been pretty much left alone, but yeah, that's where that at least one tent raid took place, and it's so sad.
Yeah.
What are the cops doing that they feel like this is the most important thing I have to do right now? Like this tent in the middle of the woods really is bothering the rest of the community, so we have to destroy it.
All the joking about police like not being brutal and all that, like, and just being ridiculous aside, how do you sleep at night when you cut up a homeless man's tent? You
Yes.
know that this man has nothing. This
Mhm.
man has nothing, and you just cut up his only thing.
You know what
he
you do?
has.
I'll tell you what you do. You take comfort in the fact that some cop sucker tomorrow is going to post the story again of the cop that bought a fucking poor kid a meal with his own money or something, or
Oh, good for him.
bought a homeless guy a pair of boots or something like that. That's what they do. They take comfort when shit like that happens, because they keep on pumping out the same fucking stories over and over and over again, and these cops doing good deeds. Either you could say doing their goddamn jobs or, being human for once.
Do you know that was a stunt? The story that you just mentioned about the boots. That
Yeah, I
was
know.
that was a publicity stunt. It turned out that the guy wasn't homeless. That
It
the
doesn't
cop
stop
bought
them
the
from
boots
using it.
for.
I got something I want to share with you guys. We do a lot of talking about how bad the cops are and how much they suck and they're raiding people's homes. So I want to share something that deserves mentioning when the cops do something right. Check out this extremely reasonable cop, and I don't say that lightly. Check this out.
To say hang out and draw attention to yourselves, but especially not to drive any way you would if one of my guys was sitting right out there. Please. They will call in, they will complain. The chief will get on me again, and I'll get on my guys, and I have to do stuff like I don't want to do. For example, write everybody for everything. We have to deal with it. I don't want to be that guy. I didn't like receiving tickets when I was a kid. I really don't want to give them to young kids that are just having fun. So we need to keep it safe in Elgin, cool in Elgin. We can't loiter here unless we're buying something. If you're buying something from Taco Bell, from the Jewel, whatever, I'm cool with that. Hi, Mom. I'm cool with that, but we can't turn into loitering. They're supposed to put up signs and then tell us they want to enforce it. I'd rather come here and treat you like adults and say, guys, please don't loiter. Eat your stuff. Move on. It's drawing too much attention. Is that cool? Do you have questions for me? They suck. I drove better cars when I was younger. Yeah. They're not bad.
All right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys. I mean, the video goes on a little bit, and I'll link to the video in the show notes. But you can see it's a cop. He's sitting on the front of his cruiser like a cool guy, like relaxed. He's got not an intimidating stance. There's a crowd of probably 20 or 30 kids, like 18 years old or so, and they've been complained, or there's been a complaint about loitering in that area near Taco Bell or whatever. So some jerk called up and was like, "There's a bunch of teenagers outside, like they've got any other place to go. They're hanging out," and the cop is totally reasonable with them, like, "Hey, I don't want to write you guys any tickets."
Yeah, but still apologizing in advance for and trying to put the blame on them. Don't make me be the bad guy. Fuck you. Just don't be the bad guy and tell them, hey, where the fuck else do you expect the kids to go?
I don't know.
You know?
Really, it's private property, isn't it? So if someone calls and says, "Hey, I want these people off my property," it's the cop's job to get them off, and he's just doing it without writing a bunch of tickets, which I think is great.
No, that's a positive part of it, sure.
You know, and he's receptive to the camera. He waves, he smiles, he laughs, he jokes. Hey, we got more. This is CopBlock Radio. Yeah.
I have the link. I have the link to the YouTube video in the comments.
I
Sweet.
need something to drink.
I'm getting some water too. I'll be right back.
Yeah, me too.
Taking responsibility for ourselves and our families when it counts the most. StrategicShelters.com offers emergency supplies and a secure way to store them, and provides protection for loved ones in the event of an extreme natural or man-made disaster. To find out more, visit StrategicShelters.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government waged wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1, let your friends know you're listening to LRN.
I'm getting JP Freeman to call in.
Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups.
King Cat Black. Did he say it like that when you guys were out cop?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm from King Cat Black.
Woohoo! I was getting nervous.
What?
It was taking forever for the money to post in my account. It took like an hour. I was like, that wait is terrible. It finally just posted.
You better use a VPN. Do you have a VPN, like a virtual private network, to encrypt your internet communications?
I got a little something.
All right. There's
I got nothing.
At least there's Tor or something. There's a really cheap one through Free Talk Live.
Yeah.
It's
VPN Pro or something like that.
Yeah, Pro XPN.
There you go.
You can pay for it in Bitcoin, and if you pay for a year's worth, it ends up being only $5 a month, and you put in code FTL50 for 50% off, so it's really cheap. We are coming back. I haven't seen. Oh, here's
This is the Liberty Radio Network.
All right, I got the
Broadcasting
video.
the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day.
Yeah, wait till you see my new intro. That's
Nice intro.
fantastic.
20 cop blockers hold the police accountable in Lehigh Valley. Joining Severin Freeman, they had Keene's own J.P. Freeman. They had many others. Exclusive video now shared with you, the CopBlock radio listeners. Take a look. Damn. Nice intro.
Must be nice to have a graphic artist as a wife.
No, that was actually that was somebody else.
Oh, wait a minute. That's.
Are you guys aware?
Sorry, I gotta stop this video. Is that what the guy was singing when he was knocked down by the cops?
Yeah, and the guy that's standing in front of me is him. He joined us for the walk.
No way! Oh,
yeah.
All right, I'll keep going.
Oh, wait till you see this old lady that comes and talks crap.
All right, here we go.
What happened at Bethlehem City Hall today?
Oh, the guy who did he resign?
No, House Bill 81, I believe.
1538.
Okay, 1538. House Bill 1538 is going to be a nationwide bill, and they were just pushing it at Bethlehem City Hall today. The congressman, the senator, and Bethlehem mayor are all backing it. What it's going to do, it's calling for harsher punishments for police officers assaulted. What it actually does is make it so that when a police officer assaults one of us, they don't need to release his name anymore.
Well, if they shoot us,
Not until he's found guilty by his own peers.
if he's charged.
You know what?
Really, that's
I
bullshit.
think that, yeah, it's true.
Problem with that, their investigative board doesn't do the job, because I found that out.
So we're going to arrange a little something like this right outside our local congressman and senator's office later on in the month. But just to let you guys all know, they are trying to push this through, and if it happens, the news will no longer be releasing the name of the shooter. Fire Bush! Fire Bush! Fire Bush! Fire Bush! That's Allentown Police Department. Fire Bush! Fire Bush!
You know what?
Okay, can I ask a question?
Oh, this lady's funny.
What's going on here?
Officer Bush slammed a 62-year-old man for singing on the public sidewalk, and he's still on the job on people's tax
Wait a
dollars.
minute, what is that?
This happened on the steakhouse over there by the arena,
Down there by,
by the walkway, the arch walkway,
wait a
where
minute.
the Starbucks is at. The big
Right
restaurant
there in town?
right there in the middle
I
of
live
town.
there. What happened?
A man was slammed for singing on the public sidewalk. This man right here. And the officer's still on the job.
You're the one that yell in my damn window all the time?
On the boardwalk.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah. Well, guess what? You are a fucking nuisance.
Oh, yeah?
Classy lady.
Yeah, wait, it gets better.
No.
I consider that a compliment. Thank you.
No, you full of shit. You're disturbing the peace.
Okay.
No, I don't have to. No, I live there. You come up under my window saying that fucking bullshit. I was the one that told you to shut the fuck up. No.
Now I know who you are.
You.
But see, the thing is, this is America.
No, I don't give a fuck about it. I don't have to. Yeah.
He served this country.
Huh.
Not up
He
under,
served this country for
not
everybody.
up under my fucking window.
Well, all right.
It's a
This is pretty tough. I mean, like, I want to stop the video here because what are you thinking at this point?
This lady has some serious issues. She does one last really fun gesture.
All right. Let me go through to that, and then I'll stop when she's finished.
public street.
I don't want him
Don't
singing
engage.
up under my fucking window.
Disengage.
That's why I don't
Weird anyway.
Disengage.
You go home and sing. You go home and sing your fucking bullshit.
One
What the
more.
hell does that mean?
One more.
Smacking her ass?
No, she sticks her finger in her ass. I've never seen somebody violate themselves in public because they were so frustrated.
Lady, I can't understand what her motivations are. She's clearly sick and upset about something else.
Yeah, she's.
I don't know, man. It doesn't strike me as somebody with a whole lot of motivation.
So, all right, that was weird. But apparently, I guess you complained, and someone said disengage. What was that about? Who said that?
That was Scott. Scott from the Oath Accountability Project. He was just trying to. He could tell that she was getting really worked up, and he was just like, "Yeah, disengage. Don't even engage her. We're here for a purpose today."
Yeah. All right.
Literally everyone else that came up was supportive. They were all cool. You can't have fans everywhere. Some
Yeah.
people just don't like people. But yeah, there's about a minute left in the last.
Bopper in the road.
She hates it, man.
Rockin' in a wheelie bopper ram, bop 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 ram.
Have a nice day.
This is the freedom horn. That thing shakes the windows. It's so loud. They cannot control our voice. They cannot control our actions on the street as long as we are non-violent. But they seem to like attacking children and old men.
Yeah.
So we wrote a song for them.
You did?
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear it.
Bushy really sucks. We don't want to take anymore. We are people thinking matter. We're not gonna take anymore. We are sick of calling ourselves officers, officers, officers. We are here to make justice. We are here until it ends. We will be here until it ends. We will be here until it ends.
Wow. Dude, I got chills from that. There's your picture. Everyone out there. Looks like you got a crowd of about 20 people.
Yeah, we had 20. We did a count. There were several that didn't want to be in the photo, and we respected that. But yeah, we had 20 people.
So you can like and subscribe.
Was
JP one of the ones that didn't want to be in the photo? Because I didn't see
No,
him.
JP flaked on the protest. So he was lame. He was supposed to be there. That was the day we were meeting up, and he had a whole bunch of issues happen back to back where he couldn't leave till like midnight that night. So the whole rest of the weekend he was there, but that night he was not. He missed a really good time though.
I'm gonna give him some shit when he calls in.
Well, I just texted him. I don't know. He hasn't responded, and I sent him a message earlier. They might be asleep, but
he's listening. He ain't gonna call in now.
No, we had a really good time with him. We went up to Celtic Fest, which is a Irish festival up in my town. Had about 20,000 people there, and he did his thing. And there was this one cop in particular that thinks he's the toughest cop, that he doesn't need to respect anybody because he was in the military. Well,
I was in the military, so fuck you.
Well, JP brings it to him because JP served 20 years in the military, so he makes him feel really dumb and almost makes him cry. It looked like at one point.
413-418 cops.
Keenvention is coming up fast, October 30th through November 1st.
Yeah, that's great. Crazy, man.
That was a good time.
That was great. Good protest.
You know, speaking of exclusives, I'm trying to get Tanisha Anderson's sister next week to interview, and Tanisha was killed in Cleveland here by police. They were called for a welfare check, and they slammed her on the ground and ended up killing her.
Oh, wow.
Like a week before Tamir Rice got shot. So once he got shot, everybody forgot about Tanisha. So, and her sister's been kind of like reclusive since since then. But you know, she's been contacting me the last couple of days and said she wanted to do this. So I'm going to call her Monday to confirm, and if she confirms on Monday that she'll do it, next week we'll have an exclusive interview with her.
Oh,
and
man.
Also, Kelly Patterson's supposed to call in, too. And Kelly Patterson is friends with Tommy Chong, and I'm trying to get him on there. So how would that be if we had Tommy Chong as a guest on the show?
Oh, man. I'd be so happy. Damn, I just got a tip-off about a DUI checkpoint right around my town. All right, I'm cutting out early. I'm cutting out early, guys. I got work to do. Nah, I'll just repost it on our page. But
hey, it's getting really close.
They predict next summer, so I'll have to move to New Hampshire.
Well, you'll have 5 years. You have 5 years once the move is triggered.
Oh, I wish I could go to that.
There'll be others.
There always are. I'm surprised. Oh, it's Friday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday night. Wait a minute. Why would they have a checkpoint on a Wednesday? Last day of the month.
Either
Their
that
last.
or they could be full of shit too, because a lot of times checkpoints aren't always there.
No, this guy that tipped me off twice before, and he's been good.
I'm just saying it happens.
Oh yeah. I just had one over the weekend where actually the cops knew that we had this meetup happening, knew we had all this going on in town, and when we located their checkpoint, they made a fake profile using my government name as a last name for an attractive girl that had a picture of the Constitution as her backdrop. They did a really good job on making a fake profile to draw me in, and and posted one like 5 towns over, and it turned out that there was nothing. We gave the cops hell for it. Everything just went quiet. Is Dio? Okay. How are you going to get Tommy Chong on? He's sick. He's not well.
I don't know. Well, we're gonna find out, and because, like I said, Kelly Patterson is a friend of his, like a Facebook friend, and he said he's supposed to see him like in a couple of days. So they're supposed to be doing some kind of event out there in Vegas, and
I think he has cancer, doesn't he?
I mean, I think so, because I think I remember seeing in the documentary how he was. I mean, that's what he was saying. That's why he's fucking smoking. So, you know, he was saying he was using it to treat that. So, but I don't know how bad he is.
We're coming
now.
back.
Updates.lrn.fm.
So Severin, we just watched exclusive video that you will soon be able to find at Lehigh Valley CopBlock YouTube page. Anything else you want to share about that event? Did the cops ever come out and greet you guys?
No, they avoided us. Actually, we were waiting. We started live streaming because they gathered in the corner in the police station and looked like they were going to come out on us.
Yeah.
And then it looked like a sergeant actually went out and said something to them, and they quickly locked the doors and just dispersed behind the barrier inside.
Yeah, like, don't give them what they want, guys.
Yeah, we really wanted to get arrested in front of 20 cameras and 20 cop blockers. That would have been just that would have ruined them. But they
run like roaches when you turn the lights on, man.
But no, we actually finally had a little bit of success with downtown police department. We had there was a high school protest for all the bad stuff going on in their schools in Allentown, and we were there just basically forming a barrier between the cops and the kids, and the chief of police ends up coming up because we were screaming at the officers, "What, are you going to rough up some kids today? Are you out of your minds?" And the chief of police comes up. I thought he was about to grab me or something. He shook my hand. He's like, it's good to finally meet you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I turned to him. I was kind of mad. I was like, you touch one of these kids, you know who I am, right? He's like, yeah, we know you're Severin. You'll publish it. We know. I was like, just so we're all clear, we're all on the same page here. It's going to go right out. It's going to go up in an hour if you touch one of those kids. And we talked pretty nicely. He just asked that we stop them from banging on the windows, and we did that. And he actually handed me his personal business card. This is the first scratch in the thin blue line that we've seen in this town, and said, "Come in, let's talk about the issues."
Dude, that's something.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a publicity show, but what's going on is he's the assistant chief. He's moving up to chief of police because the actual chief is leaving. Mm-hmm. So I think what he's trying to do is, he seems like a good guy. I think he is actually going to try to make some changes, and he wants us to stop bashing them all over the media, which we have been very successful at doing, if I don't say so myself.
Hey, you guys have some footage of us doing good stuff, right?
Well, yeah, we did publish that, him coming up, and we're giving him credit. We're giving him the benefit of the doubt. We'll give him the chance to make the department right and to stop all this brutality and all the lawsuits and hold some cops accountable.
I wanted
Well,
to share something.
In the meantime, I like the fact I've seen all them CopBlock shirts all over the place in your pictures and everything and in your videos and stuff. So
Yeah.
Remember, hey, winter's coming up, and using the code CopBlock on the CopBlock store right now, it gets you 15% off hoodies.
Sweet.
Just in time for those cool fall nights and winter months that come up, you know.
I know, I'll be wearing mine. It's getting colder. Hey, speaking of all the cameras and like opportune times to get arrested, did you see this on Ademo's Facebook wall today? He's like, "We've got backup. The more cameras, the better." And hashtag MacTour, because like Civilians Against CopBlock, some Facebook group that has formed, updated their schedule. Let them know that where the MacTour was going to be headed, and let their members of the group know to be there with video cameras. So it's like, this is exactly what Ademo would want, and this is what they think is really going to get them. I mean, listen to what they say. They're now taking their CopBlock mobile, so we need supporters to be our boots on the ground. Get your blue on and get out there armed with your video cameras. And ask Ademo about his record and Brian about his patriotism. If you see them recording officers while doing their job and trying to bait them into a confrontation, put your camera right in theirs. Remember, and this part floored me, they say, quote, "Photography is not a crime. Video in public is not a crime. Use their own mottos against them. The camera does not grant you extra rights." And so then they put the entire, I'll just do a screen share with you so you can see, they put the entire list of their dates and where they're going to be headed so that everyone can see. And there were tons of responses on here on the Civilians Against CopBlock page, everyone posting their pictures saying, "Yeah, I'll be there, I'm going to bring my camera," and I think that's great. So, you know, the more cameras, the better. What a amazing opportunity, and it's only going to make for great video on Ademo's end. You know, these guys are fighters, so they're going to make fools of themselves.
I've had this happen at all of my events. People claiming that they're going to form mobs and come and do all this and that. I invite them. I tell them exactly where I'm going. In fact, the organizers that I know are out there organizing, I'll send them private messages on Facebook. "Hey, this is where we'll be tonight." None of them have ever shown up, not one time.
Oh yeah.
So,
Did I screen share correctly? Can you see my screen there?
No, I see your face.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying.
Ademo posted a rebuttal to this. He put this up on their page there, that Civilians Against CopBlock.
Oh yeah, he said, "Let's see how long this post remains up."
Yeah, it went down like 5 minutes later. They took it down.
For those of you that support this page, congratulations. This is what it feels like to stand up for something you believe in. I applaud you. Yet you misunderstand the issue at hand, which is the service of protection. Today, far too many people believe that the government-provided police do this for us. The truth is they have no obligation to protect you and spend more time generating revenue than protecting. Regardless of whether or not you believe that, we all understand that the police are not free. They cost money, and that money is taken from people regardless of whether or not they would voluntarily give that money to the police. The question is it okay to force someone to pay for something they do not want to pay for? What do you call it when you take something from someone that doesn't want to give it to you? I think you call it stealing. If this is a free country, then why aren't we allowed to choose what kind of protection we'd like? Now, a few of you are going to rant that I don't pay taxes. Great. Then the police should stop protecting me or stop interacting with me altogether. If this happened, I'd stop filming the police I wasn't forced to pay for and or interact with. So while you hate me for filming the police, my problem is with their actions, as they are nothing more than a gang, and how they aren't voluntarily funded. Do you understand this? So
no, they don't understand at all. It escapes their mind cannot wrap around the fact that their heroes are not heroes.
God, Ademo.
Oh man.
So what about this story that the FBI reports that police violence is up while people violence is down? You have that story for us, Dio?
No, couldn't
one
be.
second, I'm pulling it up. It basically the FBI is saying that violence in like amongst the people are creating less violence, are much less violent than ever, and while the police have increased the amount of violence that they use. I mean, the report reveals that manslaughter has dropped by 4.4%. Instances of rape were down 6.3%. Robbery is also down by 2.8%. Meanwhile, the police crime, what the police have murdered over 800 people since January, something like that, right?
874 was earlier today's count.
Yeah. So I mean, we have a hard time figuring. I don't understand how this happens, and people still want to support the police. I really don't get it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
I actually have a nice little statistic that I posted on Lehigh Valley CopBlock's wall in response to the whole cops are heroes thing. Turns out being a mailman's more dangerous than being a cop, first of all.
A fisherman is more dangerous than being a cop.
The numbers for this past year are actually 96 officers have died in the line of duty, and only 26.
Wait a second. Yeah.
Hold on, let me finish.
Good.
96 total cops have died in the line of duty. Now here's where the numbers get changed. 26 cops have died because of gunfire, and only six total cops have died because they were targeted. So it's been all accidents, all car accidents, all slip and falls, all
that they create. Mm-hmm.
That they're chasing people, that they don't know how to drive their own damn cars, and that is why they die.
This is back. Robert's brokerage.
Cool. Almost made it. That is why. But I don't know what the audience heard. We'll hear. I'll find out later when I edit the.
That is why they die, because that's what everybody heard.
Yeah, I mean because they put like guys that died behind a desk from a fucking heart attack. They put in those.
Yeah, they added that. The 96. I couldn't believe that when I read 96. And these aren't stats from like anti-police sites. This is police1.com.
Yeah, that's their own statistics. Yep.
That's their own statistics. And none of my haters came on my wall to dispute it. I loved it. I shut them all down with that comment.
I'm trying to find a sound effect. Yeah, that's what I want.
Oh man. Do you have those all as buttons on your keyboard?
Yeah, I'll see if I can do a screen share for you. See what it looks like.
Oh, nice. Is that something that goes along with the CopBlock radio?
Yeah, it's a program that I paid for because I do a bunch of radio shows, so I can add clips.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you hear that a demo's gonna be in Playboy magazine?
Get the fuck out.
He's not gonna be in Playboy magazine. They asked him for a comment.
They're gonna quote him in Playboy magazine about filming police and some of
they got some big article coming up or something.
Yeah, I only buy it for the articles.
I might actually buy that one for the articles.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gay. I'm not interested in I'm really only buying it for the articles, I swear.
Yeah, right, man.
Okay, guy. You and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can get this.
The only innocent man in prison, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That stereotype is totally true. When I spent a little time in jail, everybody was innocent. I couldn't get over it. And everybody had a story about how innocent they were and why they weren't guilty and why they got set up. I was the only guy in jail that said, "Yeah, I deserve to be here."
Fuck me.
Yeah, it was strange. Like people couldn't believe that I video recorded my crimes.
I'll be right back.
My evidence against me was on my own video camera.
Yeah, I was like, they were like, "How did they get the video?" I was like, "I put it on YouTube."
I always worry, like, because I hear stories about people doing stuff, and 6 months later, a cop knocks on their door with a warrant for them for it.
Yeah.
Like, who was that? It was one of the cop blockers that was filming in a parking lot somewhere, and then like several months later they come at him with a warrant for trespassing. Like they really don't like being butthurt. They just get all upset when when somebody makes them feel stupid.
Do we have more that we want to say about the FBI report thingy thing? Or you want to talk about the Gloucester police deal?
I heard about this Gloucester police thing in passing. They're the same department that assaulted Chris Cudio.
Did Dio go away? Is he gone?
I think he went away.
All right. Okay, well now. I want to pull up the picture of my sister that I made this week. Did you see that one, Severin?
I don't know. I might have seen it.
Let's see. I made a picture of my sister. It ended up getting over 400 likes and over 130 shares.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think when you see it, you'll know why. Oh, here we go.
That shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, who's that?
My sister went to a wedding, and something strange happened. I was sharing this picture on Facebook, but before I did, I wanted to add a filter, and when I added a black and white filter, just something weird happened to this photo. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's not the same. Now, this photo actually got over 400 likes on my Facebook page and over 130 shares. Because, for those of you who are just listening and can't see the screen at copblock.org/show, when I turned this photo black and white, I also turned the cop who's in the photo into a Nazi. And, it's just a low blow. It's just
Sieg Heil!
But the truth is, both of these people are paid to follow orders and will obey every order they are given without question. That's their job. And so it's not an unfair analogy to make, and a lot of people thought the same. They agreed. So it was
Derek,
photo.
Well, they both perform paper checks as well.
I think one of them was paid to do that. I don't think they're paid to do that anymore because I think they recognized their mistake and stopped having those type of people around. Huh?
Yeah, that's true.
I think the cops are getting smarter. They know we shut down all their DUI checkpoints. So the last one, they gave me a fake tip-off, and now I just got tipped off that there's one tonight happening right now, and they know I'm on the radio. So they are going to where they know I won't be.
Cop blocking.
The funny thing is, I have a nice little network going on here, and they're on their way out. So I just tipped them off while we were sitting here on the radio.
Well, Dio had a story about the Gloucester police treating addiction like a disease instead of crime.
Yeah.
They're not arresting anyone who's coming into the station with heroin and wants help.
Well, whether they might have drugs on them or whether they might be high at the time when they come in or whatever. I mean, like, for a police department, that would normally be an extra charge. But thank God for this Gloucester, Massachusetts police department who's starting to treat the disease of addiction as a disease rather than a law enforcement problem. They had this Angel initiative that they launched where they're having people come in, and it's actually working pretty well from what they're saying. So the Gloucester Police Department has actually called out the members of the big pharma cartels. Your Eli Lilly CEO, Abbott Labs, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer CEOs. He's posted their salaries and their emails and phone numbers, and they want to know what Big Pharma plans to do about the opiate problem in the country. And because he's finding out that a lot of people that are coming in they began their addictive path with prescription opioids, things such as Oxycontin and things like that, which are legal prescription drugs.
So
Yeah,
how effective has this been? I mean, is there any response from the people yet? Do the people even like this?
The articles that I've read so far have not really focused on what the public's perception of this has been, but it's like it according to them it's working well, and like I said, I mean for them to call out the big pharma, I think that takes a lot of balls, and me personally, I'm an advocate. I've always been an advocate of treating addiction like a disease rather than a crime problem, because it's really not. It really is a disease, and most countries in the world that have like legalized drugs basically have had positive results from this type of program. So to see it actually, it's actually good. We've only seen this like up like in TV shows and stuff up until now. So to see an actual department I'm gonna say getting away with it like it's a something to get away with, but I mean, I would think from what my experience has been, I would think that their handlers would be saying, hey, you got to shut this down or something if there was a problem, right? I mean, like if there was a big public outcry or something like that. So
Well, that's good news. Hey, let's take a call.
I think so.
Hey, caller from the 484, you are on CopBlock Radio. What's on your mind? Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
You just dropped. All right. Try us on Skype or call again later. This is really good news. I've heard about other countries doing this. Oh, he's trying to call back. Hope it's not my end.
I mean,
I hear someone.
Places like Amsterdam and stuff already do this.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? You're on air.
You're on the air.
And you're not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna hang up on you, dude.
You give us no choice. I mean, dead air is not good.
Yeah. Anyway,
That might be one of my guys out at the checkpoint right now.
Oh, well, I don't know what to tell them. I'm happy to hear about this Gloucester Police. Did they get the inspiration from other countries? Are there other places in the States that are doing this? Or
as far as I've heard, this has been the first place in the States that has been doing it outside of like a movie or something, I mean, we've all seen The Wire, right? I mean, that's the big, when the police chief there tried to like legalize drugs in that one corner of Baltimore. And like I said, his superiors came down and I'm like, what are you, nuts? What are you doing? And to me, that's always been, even before I saw that, I thought that was the proper solution, because I had been reading about places like Amsterdam and, Denmark and those Nordic type countries that have been doing this for years. They have programs to help these people. I mean, even places like in England have like needle exchange programs and things like that where, nobody's persecuted for what they have on them or whatnot at the time, that it's seen as more of a health issue, and like if you can get dirty needles off the street, I mean that's a positive I think in any book, in any regard, I think that's a positive. So
yeah, there are places that actually let you go in and do your drugs in other countries.
Yeah,
I think it's sold in Amsterdam or something, one of those other countries other than America, obviously.
No, it's in this country too, because I mean they might not sanction it explicitly, but have you ever been in the bathroom at some places and you see there's a wastebasket for sharps? I
always thought that was just for like people that have to shoot insulin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean them and everyone else who does their drugs in the bathroom,
I guess biohazard means any kind of biohazard, doesn't it?
I would think so. And why shouldn't they have a safe place free from cops to go do their drugs, and then to be safe with the disposal of it too? So it's a win-win.
It's better than having your kid find a fucking needle in the goddamn park when he's trying to slide down the slide, right?
Oh my God, yeah, and we've all seen that. I lived in a neighborhood littered with needles. But yeah, hopefully with less law enforcement comes more prevention. I've heard, you referred to drug addiction, Dio, as a disease, but I've actually heard of a recent study on rats who were put in a cage and given heroin. So they were like super addicted to heroin, and then given like playpens and all different types of environments. Well, the rats who had other rats to play with, where they were social, just chose to stop using the heroin. They had a little like water drip, one that had just regular water and one that had heroin, and the ones that could interact with other rats and had happy social lives chose to just drink the water. They didn't want the heroin anymore, even though they were clearly addicts. And the ones that had no social interaction were very sad. This was the only way that they could find happiness. So I think for humans, it could tell us a little bit about ourselves and ways that we could help people with drug addiction and look less towards chemical dependency and more towards social interaction and making sure that people have their needs met.
Well, sure. I mean, that's going through the '90s. I can remember where it was like a thing, you know, when they started with the ADD stuff and everything like that. I mean, it was people. I'm saying, like, you know, people were complaining that they couldn't interact socially. I mean, like, so what was their solution? Was to give them drugs, you know? I mean, it wasn't to try to, like, you know, help with social interactions and things like that. It was to try to give them drugs to help them get through it.
Hey, caller. Yeah, you're back on. I don't know if you can hear us or what, but you're on the air. You got the last 30 seconds. Oh. All right. Well, dude, it's not like I don't have your phone number. I mean, I'm seeing which number you are, and I'm not going to answer your calls anymore. Appreciate it. Thanks for playing. All right, we'll be right back. Hour number 2 is next. This is CopBlock Radio. We've got a man who was jailed for a traffic ticket and died in custody. Oh, the officers probably didn't know it happened. Oh, wait, no. They watched it on video.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most
text me that number that keeps trying to call. Can you send it to me in a message? Because I'm going to see if it's one of my friends.
I don't think it is. Just going to say. Is it a 484 number?
Yeah, that's my area.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably someone who doesn't like you, who saw that you posted this on Facebook. He's just saying hello and then dropping his call.
Well, my guys are out there responding now, and it's not one of them calling.
Yeah. I'm going to do a Skype test call, make sure that Skype is working, and, you know, I don't like the phone calls anyway. Usually, people who want to troll don't bother with Skype. It's an extra step for them. If it's just picking up the phone and
welcome
calling.
to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Why is this woman British? I just wonder, you know, does it sound more official this way, or, you know, does Microsoft say, you know, we really want a British woman's voice? I mean, hey, is this woman British? I just wonder, you know, does it sound more official this way, or, you know, does Microsoft say, you know, we really want a British woman's voice?
It's pretty.
If you are able to hear your own voice and you have configured Skype correctly,
then you
if you hear this message but not your own voice,
if you can hear this message, blow it out your ass. Hey, you know, speaking of blowing it out your ass, there's this guy who has the Twitter account that I really want, the Derek J. It's my Facebook account, it's my website, thederekj.com, and he just won't release the Twitter. He hasn't used it in over 4 years, and I'm like, hey, you know, we have the same name, could I use that? And he's like, yeah, what's your price? I'm like, oh, dude, you only have 7 tweets, like, and they're all like, oh, go to my other Twitter account. So yeah, I was going to offer him Bitcoin. I was going to offer him to sing him a song because he's a musician. And we're both Derek J, man. Like, we should have some camaraderie over that. But he's trying to, like, extort me a little bit.
Well, he wouldn't take the Bitcoin?
I haven't offered him Bitcoin yet. He hasn't responded. The first response was like, oh, what's your price? And then I was like, oh, but you only have 7 tweets from that account, right? And he's like, correct. I'm like, okay, well, like, maybe you could give it to me. And he hasn't responded to that. So I'm going to wait a week. You know, I've gone like 3 years without having that Twitter handle, so I can wait another week. and then I'll like, hey, haven't heard from you. You know, I would really like to have that Twitter account. It's so weird. Like, why is Twitter this way that someone can keep an account for 4 years, no one using it? Doesn't seem right.
You should petition Twitter to give it to you.
Yeah. Hey, Twitter. This guy's being an ass.
There has to be some kind of like terms of service that say you can't try to sell your Twitter account.
I mean, why not? I would think if you want to sell your Twitter account, you have to have homesteaded it first. And like, I don't think it counts as homesteading if you used it 7 times 4 years ago and never touched it since. Like, you sort of have to keep it in use for it to be considered homesteading. I don't know. Hey, I gotta get some water. I'll be right back. Here's some ads.
Judge Advocate General pressing General Joseph Dunford on whether the Pentagon is keeping track of the civilian toll in airstrikes they are facilitating, adding that at this point it's clear the Saudi-led coalition is either grossly negligent or intentionally targeting civilians. For over 5 years, Robertson Roberts has been
funny little cute little story for you.
For investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Cecil Richards, Planned Parenthood president, disputed claims the organization sells fetal tissue at a House committee hearing on Tuesday. Republicans on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee are seeking to bar Planned Parenthood from obtaining federal funds, largely on the pretext of videos purported to show officials of the health organization attempting to sell fetal tissue. In a prepared remark, Richards said the latest smear campaign is based on efforts by our opponents to entrap our doctors and clinicians into breaking the law, and once again, our opponents have failed. Richards said the videos were deceptively edited, released by a group that is dedicated to making abortion illegal, adding that Planned Parenthood only sells a small amount of fetal tissue and recovers only reasonable expenses within the law. She noted the majority of the group's federal funding comes through Medicare reimbursements and other payments for birth control and cancer screening services, and that no federal funding is directed to abortion services. The Republican push to block the funding comes as a stopgap spending bill to keep the government operating past Thursday is under consideration. ExpressCoin is the best choice for buying Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and more. ExpressCoin prides themselves on their customer service, so much so that the back end on the website should allow them to be even more focused on your needs. Get started at expresscoin.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Georgia's parole board denied
Can you see my screen now, Severin?
on the state's death row just hours before her scheduled execution Tuesday for her role in her husband's
trying to coordinate all these people going to the checkpoint.
Tuesday to decide whether its refusal earlier.
Can you see my screen? Is my screen sharing properly?
Yes.
Should stand.
Okay,
Board members were not swayed by the inmate's latest appeal.
Newsflash: Kim Davis had a secret meeting with Poop Francis.
For plotting her husband's murder.
Derek, the person that keeps trying to call in, does it end in the 3 digits 855?
Oh, I forgot to check. Here, let me look.
Death sentence. Several last-minute
I
appeals to the
closed
U.S.
the
Supreme Court
page.
and Georgia Supreme Court were denied.
All right.
Jason Daner was executed
Like real
at
mature
12:01
guy.
a.m. on Wednesday. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Several weeks after the car accident that resulted in the death of his longtime friend Matthew Abrams, local man Keith Bisbee told Onion reporters today that he isn't sure how much longer he should continue using the
message
photo of his
is-
deceased friend as his
or the-
profile picture on Facebook.
All right. The number is for anyone who wants to give a prank phone call.
Wait, I think it's one of my guys.
What's it end in?
9855?
No. The number to prank is 484-788-7935. That number again is 484-788-7935. Please enjoy pranking this asshole.
Do you know who? You know what 484 is?
Time Bisbee has
It's
reluctantly
Bethlehem.
changed his profile picture to an image of
Yeah.
a gay rights
So
equal
it's someone
sign
around
and is,
Severn's
quote,
area.
just waiting to see what happens.
Enemies.
This is the
I have lots of friends.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of CopBlock Radio. Hey, we're going to do something fun in this segment. There's someone who keeps calling in on our phone line, and I've got it muted, so it doesn't bother me any. But I see that they've wasted the last half hour of their life doing this. So I want to give out their phone number, and I invite you to give them a call. Tell them anything you want. 484-788-7935 is this asshole's number. They live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so if you want to joke and tell them, like, you're the cops and, you know, someone is reporting them for a crime and that they'll be at their house in about 30 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever you want to make up and scare this person with. 484-788-7935. And if you want, record the call and send it to us, and then we'll play it on the air next week. All right. And if you are legit and you want to have a conversation, you can join us on Skype. Our Skype username is CopBlock Radio. And it's Derek J. here with you.
And Dio.
And Severin. And it turns out that the tip-off was a lie.
What's the tip-off?
Oh, I think my
determined that was a lie.
My inbox has been going crazy with this checkpoint supposedly happening. They're trying to distract me to get me off the air, and it was people I didn't really recognize. They had one that tipped me off before, but I sent my guys over there to check it out, and it is not there.
Oh.
So if somebody wanted me to get off the air and ruin my whole night, but they don't realize I have an extensive network of people that can send me to go there.
Oh no, I've got to go immediately because I'm only one guy. Nope. We're a whole network here, and there's other people who can go and do the legwork. So yeah, well done.
We just crossed over 2,100 followers on our Facebook page, so thank you. Thank you to all my fans, everybody out there. We are working hard to bring freedom back into this country.
Well, that's good news, but I've got some sad news.
Oh no.
Too important not to share. In other words, it's so important I must share it. Man jailed for traffic ticket dies in cell after 17 days of torture, and officers watched it happen. This story from Reason.com. Robbie Suave writes, David Shlaveksy, or I should do him the justice of getting his name right. What do you think, Dio?
That sounds like it might be difficult to get right. Stoyevsky?
I would say Stachewski. That would be my Polish interpretation of this. David Stachewski, a 32-year-old resident of Roseville, Michigan, was arrested after failing to pay a $772 fine stemming from careless driving. A court ordered him to spend a month in Macomb County Jail. That's right, you heard that correct.
Wow.
The court ordered him to spend time in jail for money. You thought there was no such thing as a debtor's prison in the U.S.? In 2015, a man has died in his cell. After the 17 days of his incarceration in a brightly lit cell where he was denied clothing, he lost 50 pounds, suffered convulsions, and eventually began to hallucinate. He died in agony from a combination of obvious untreated drug withdrawal and galling neglect. Making matters worse, if anything could be worse than that, the entirety of his demise was captured on jail surveillance footage. Indeed, Stachewski was under self-harm watch stemming from a profound misdiagnosis of his condition, which was drug addiction, not mental instability, and jail officers were supposed to be watching him constantly. Either their vigilance was inadequate, or they watched and simply didn't care. WDIV's report on the story is a must-see, though it's highly disturbing. The video shows clips from the jail footage, while a medical expert offers commentary on the inhumanity of Stachewski's treatment. Stachewski was a drug addict and was taking methadone, Xanax, and Klonopin to treat his addiction, but without access to these prescriptions, he quickly went into withdrawal while in jail. Withdrawal caused him to behave irrationally, but jail officers ignored these obvious symptoms and instead placed him in a cell for the mentally unstable. He was stripped naked so that he can't hurt himself and forced to languish under the unceasing bright lights. The jail didn't turn them off, even at night. At one point, Stachewski began fighting with another naked inmate who was then moved out of the cell. And sometime later, completely alone, Stachewski could be seen reenacting the fight, a clear sign of hallucination. On the last day of his life, the man refused to touch his food and was too weak to get up from the floor. At the first obvious sign of drug withdrawal, Stachewski should have been given an adequate medical treatment. He was not a violent criminal or a danger to the public. He was a man who hadn't paid a traffic ticket. Stachewski's family is suing Macomb County. A lawyer for the county told WDIV that the suit, quote, lacks legal merit and expects the family to lose when the case goes to trial. Macomb County has no plans to settle, according to the lawyer.
That's disgusting.
Oh, crazy story.
When you go, I've been into my local jail a few times, and the first question, the very first question is, do you use benzodiazepines or alcohol? Because those are the two things that you can die from the withdrawal. And if you say yes to either one, they quickly have a nurse come to you, take care of you, make sure they don't give you the narcotic, but they give you anti-seizure medication and some kind of antipsychotic, because I've been in there pretty heavily on alcohol before, and they make sure that you're not going to seize. That's how you're supposed to do it. This jail they gave him a death sentence. They locked him in a cell and let him die slowly.
It's just sick that they watched it on camera. I mean, it's one thing I could excuse if they were like, whoops, nobody saw, nobody knew. But it's like, he was under surveillance 24 hours. There was at least one guard in those 17 days who was like, hey, I don't think this is right. But instead they were like, ha, this is great. Look at this guy suffering. It's like torturing frogs or ants for children.
Any jail I've ever been in, you had to go through a medical check before you went into the actual cell portion of the jail and whatnot. You weren't just thrown into that shit. You had to like pass. I mean, they give you like TB tests and fucking, I mean, not only did they want to make sure that you weren't going to have something happen to you, but they also wanted to make sure that you weren't going to give anything else to the other inmates that then they were going to then have to treat.
Yeah, it's but I can't believe that would happen. That's completely absurd.
I'm in a day and age when people are dying in prison cells. It's kind of par for the course at this point. There might have been a point in time where you could have put something past these people, but that point in time is long gone. There is nothing you can't put past these people anymore.
Yeah, well, hopefully this woman doesn't die in jail. Did you see the story about her? She was the youth coach of a soccer league or some sports team, and shouted out to one of the cops, "Hey, dick," because he was heckling them. She got a 1-year jail sentence.
For
she was
what?
Actually sentenced? I saw she was facing.
Yeah,
but I didn't see she was sentenced.
She's facing 1 year, I should say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Shit, man. I was gonna say they gave her a year for that. That's fucking crazy.
Well, they put her. I mean, look at her face. They put her in jail. They locked her up and put her in black and white.
Well, yeah, but that's like then you bond out and then you actually go to court and be sentenced and everything like that. So
it's punishment enough, in my opinion, that
absolutely.
With a little bit of back talk, it's sentenced to jail. Hey, so here's, you want to know the story or what?
Well, here's the thing, is what I want to say is that, like, because I'm having the same problem with what I'm dealing with my cases and stuff, right? And it's a free speech issue as far as I'm concerned, because if you either have free speech or you don't. If there are restrictions on speech, then you do not have free speech.
Right.
So let's either stop fucking like spreading that illusion and rumor and like actually say what it actually is, or let's actually have the goddamn free speech, right? Because like even my lawyer is telling me that like you there are restrictions on time and place when it comes to speech. And I say, fuck that. That's not free speech. CopBlock Radio coming back. 2 and 2.
Hey, you should go to the store while we're at it. CopBlock.org/store. Get yourself some gear.
Absolutely, 15% off. Didn't get that in, did I?
I don't know, maybe. If you have a second-hand clock, we go out exactly on the second. So at where you are, it's probably 10:16, or what is it?
11:16, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a second-hand clock, you can just see, you can see how much time you have left because it'll go out right on that second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm totally annoyed. That's like the third fake tip-off we've gotten over here. I'm totally, I gotta come up with a new.
Dude, how about mine, right? You know what my source is? My source is a fucking Facebook page that calls itself Cleveland Sobriety Checkpoints Alerts. And they have a partner site. There's like 2 Facebook pages. They say the same thing. They do the same thing. And they rely on tips from people. So, like, they put, checkpoint over here and over there. And I'm like, they never have a checkpoint over here. That's not a fucking checkpoint. It's like 10 cops all lined up looking for somebody who tossed a gun, like looking for the gun out in the woods. That's what they're reporting as a checkpoint. And I'm like, I drive out there. I get people come over here and stuff to go do stuff. And I get out there and there's cops looking for a fucking gun. I'm like, well, this is exciting.
Hey, sweet. We're on in Metro Manila.
Manila?
Yeah, where's Manila?
Isn't that like China or something?
I don't think so.
Mongolia?
Where's Manila? Probably
India?
Capital of the Philippines.
There you go. I knew it was out that way.
Cool. We're on in the Philippines.
How's that?
We're on the radio.
Oh, they have internet access out there. I was just wondering how.
Not internet, radio. We're on 99.9 in Manila. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're rebroadcasting the LRN there.
Hello to all the ladyboys.
Yeah. We're on in the Philippines. Yeah,
Awesome.
We're on in San Francisco as well. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that we were live anywhere but on the internet.
No, we're on actual radio stations in some places across the U.S. I just haven't kept track of which ones, but I know that we're on in San Francisco. 88.1 is the dial number, and 99.9 in Manila, apparently. I just got a tweet about it.
Nice.
Ohio? I don't know. Do you know someone who's broadcasting this?
No, where are you getting your information from? Just people giving it to you, or?
Yeah, a tweeter. Twitter. Wow.
A Twitter.
A twat.
There's the only twat I'll ever hear.
So what do they hear on our commercial breaks?
Nothing. They don't hear our commercial breaks.
What? There's no like master list of where it's cities or anything like that?
Maybe there is. I don't know where it is. I'll look it up. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. There is a list here. I'll send it to you.
Are you just Google searching it, or?
Yeah, I just searched LRN radio, and it came up here. Where do I post this?
You can put it in the chat right there if you want.
Put it in the chat. Yeah, we're on in Springboro, Ohio, and Waverly. Are any of those close to you?
Not that I know of.
All right, those are our 2 Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
LRN.com.
There we go.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Hello, Manila! What's up, Philippines? We just got a tweet. You can follow at Radio Carabao. They just let us know that CopBlock Radio is live on 99.9 FM in Metro Manila. Hey, we're also on 88.1 here in San Francisco. Beautiful Haight-Ashbury. And I got speaking of Twitter, I got a tweet from one of our listeners in response to that Twitter account that I want, the Derek J. Right now I'm at Derek J. Me, which is okay, but I want everything to be consistent. And Rebel Love Show just tweeted at me saying, "This guy has homesteaded the Twitter username and deserves some material compensation, either a BJ, a hand job, or Bitcoin." Now, I agree. You know, if I could reach across the internet, I would give him a hand job, but I can't. So maybe he'll take my Bitcoins. All right. We were talking about a pretty serious story before we went to break about a woman. She's actually 31, a mother, and a veteran youth coach league, a youth league coach, excuse me. She was charged with, I don't exactly know, what's her crime? Did you hear?
It was like disorderly conduct and all the stupid catch-all things that include when it comes to cursing in public.
Evading
talking
arrest.
about before.
She was charged with evading arrest.
Yeah, she pulled away from the off-duty officer. Let me repeat that: the off-duty officer she pulled herself away from when he tried to grab her and take her outside.
Let me get this straight. She was at a game. She's coaching the game.
She was coaching, yes.
This guy's probably saying something that she didn't like, and she tells him
he was heckling her team apparently.
And what exactly did she say?
Here, let me give you the full story. We're skipping all around here, but let me say, I'll just start from the beginning. What happens when a Little League coach calls a heckler at a girls' basketball game a dick? Well, when that heckler is an off-duty cop, she ends up arrested and facing 3 years in prison. Jessica Kurz, the 31-year-old mother and veteran youth league coach, is crying foul, and the local police department is firing back. Now Kurz is taking to the media to tell her story. She first discussed the incident Monday on KTXA TV in Dallas. The very next day, Alvarado Police Chief Brad Anderson posted a victim-blaming 1,100-word Facebook post, which he has since deleted, but you can see the full text below. Thank you, Internet. Which criticized KTXA for telling the victim's side of things. Oh, the police aren't used to that, are they? It's
wait
always,
a minute. Wait a minute. There's conflicting stories from the police and the people involved. Let me show you my surprise face.
Shocker, right?
Seriously.
So her team was the Burleson. Oh, okay. Let's see. I back up. What everyone knows for sure is that when the incident happened, Kurz was coaching a 4th grade girls basketball game. Her team was the Burleson Youth Association, and they were playing against Alvarado. These two cities of Burleson and Alvarado are about 10 miles apart with a classic rivalry. Alvarado Police Chief Captain Gary Melson was there keeping score, and he was sitting right behind Kurz on the side that had been reserved just for coaches. Melson was in street clothes, off duty. He sat there the whole time heckling Kurz. Kurz said Melson offered a snide comment to a call. That's when I turned around. What I wanted to say was, quit being a dipshit. But all I said was, quit being a dip, she recalled. No one heard it except for him and me. Chief Anderson claimed on Facebook that Kurz screamed out a profanity, namely using the word dick in front of bleachers full of parents and kids. This action caused numerous parents to rise to their feet and began confronting Kurz, complaining and demanding action from APD Captain Melson. Kurz says that is, quote, extremely inaccurate. The referee, Andy Love, recalled, quote, I turned to report my foul, and I've got some guy standing on the edge of the gym floor, grabbing a coach by the arm, trying to pull her off the court. Chief Anderson said that Kurz, quote, has a history of questionable behavior. but this was disputed by the associations involved with the teams. Yeah, why would someone with a history of questionable behavior be elected to be a youth coach? I mean, seriously.
Well, I mean, let's face it, they're not doing, like FBI background checks on people probably, but
no, what parents?
That regardless,
it's a small town. Parents know. Oh no, if that woman's coaching, you're not going to be with her.
Right.
It's not like, all right. So Melson flashed his badge to Kurz. He's off duty, mind you, but he flashes his badge and ordered her to leave with him to the parking lot. There were only 2 minutes left in the game, and her team had to forfeit because she had to go with the officer because she was accused of a, quote, breach of the peace. One of those bullshit charges cops just throw around so that they have power over you. Whoa, you've committed a breach of the peace. Now you're going to have to come with me. Oh, you don't come with me? You're evading arrest. I'm going to arrest you anyway. And then you're in for a world of hurt. So there were only 2 minutes left in the game, but she had to go with him and was accused of a breach of the peace. Now, 2 weeks later, Kurz got a warrant for her arrest in the mail, saying that she was charged with evading arrest. Attorney Jonathan Mitchell told the district attorney was moving forward with the case, and a Class A misdemeanor charge that would make her face up to a year behind bars. Quote, everyone has told me you need to do something about this. You can't let this guy get away with this, she stated. Finally, I agreed, and I'm not going to sit and let them do this to me. And below, they've posted the full text of the Alvarado Police Department press release regarding the arrest. It was deleted from Facebook, but the internet doesn't forget, and so we'll have that posted for you on our show notes. And since the story was published, there's some good news. Jessica's charges have been dropped. Her attorney, Jonathan Mitchell, commented, quote, we believe Captain Melson's actions were an abuse of his authority as a law enforcement officer. And at this time, we're considering all of our clients' options to protect her rights and make sure that something like this never happens again.
But see, that's the thing. Like things like breach of the peace, the wide sweeping criteria that fit a charge like disorderly conduct. These are things that the police rely on when they can't get you on anything legally. I mean, they claim it's still legally, but it restricts free speech. It's basically saying that, like, and I know in my case I can say that it's saying that to use profanity in what would be considered a loud manner in a public setting where there's other people around, especially children, makes it illegal to shout these, like to say, hey, fuck you, across, like the guy's across the street, and you got to make sure he hears you. You got to yell it a little louder, right? You can't just go, fuck you, man. You got to make sure. CopBlock Radio will be right back.
Nice one.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your life?
Yeah. I think the officer was breaching the peace by yelling at her in the first place. Yeah,
sure.
You're right, LRN.
Well, now, here's the thing. Does she still have a job? Well, not that coaching a Little League is probably a paying position.
I don't think she was banking on it.
No, but did she have to give up her coaching position? What other repercussions came because of this garbage?
I know that the team had to forfeit the game because she had.
So you got a bunch of crying little girls. So that's sad.
Yeah, she's going to lose her pension over this.
Well, I know, like I said, I know the team had to forfeit the game because they didn't have a coach. So I mean, that was one negative consequence. But
and what's the cops' consequence?
It's probably going to be nothing. It's going to be nothing, dude. What do you think they're going to fucking? You think they're going to charge him with what? With abuse of power or something? There's no fucking way.
Is that even a charge? Is that a thing?
Well, I know that unlawful orders under the color of law, like something like that. Is written as like,
But they get to play dumb, and if he gets to say, well, I thought that it was, even if it wasn't.
We did a story not too long ago about where a woman was she arrested or she got a ticket or something like that. I can't remember. It was like in South Carolina, I think it was. And that's exactly what it is, because the disorderly conduct law says about, like, even just not shouting, but just like saying, you know, fuck in front of a kid. That is disorderly conduct in South Carolina. And a woman who was in a grocery store, that's what we did the story on not too long ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was a ways back now. She was fined or something, or arrested in the grocery store because her kid was getting out of control, and rather than smack him in the head, she cursed at him, and was heard by some old lady like in the next aisle over, who then called the police and had her taken care of or whatever. But my point still remains. If it's fucking free speech, then there should not be any restrictions on it. I mean, we're not talking about yelling fire in a theater or shark at a crowded beach. We're talking about saying fuck a little loud. I mean, that, like, you know, we're not talking about, I'm also not talking about saying, like, you know, somebody who sits on the side of the road, fucking fuck you, fucking all this fucking bullshit, and, you know, like somebody who's ranting and raving like really loud and causing a disturbance is something way different from somebody who says, hey, that guy likes to violate fucking people's rights. You know, I mean, there's a big difference between that as far as I'm concerned. So, like, I mean, again, free speech, you either fucking have it or you don't. And it appears to me that in this country we do not have it. And it really gets on my nerves, but the hypocrisy of basing the entire country on the principle of having free speech and then not actually having it. You know, that's a lot on my mind to fucking take in and weigh in. You know, like, have to try to
move to the next amendment. Look at the Second Amendment. That's not a thing.
Did you hear that the New Hampshire Supreme Court ruled against me this week?
Yes, I heard about that.
Bullshit.
How can they still be holding things against you?
Bullshit.
Are you still on some kind of probation or any kind of...
He's on that bullshit is what he's on.
No, it's just that they don't like me. They said that I don't respect the police, so I shouldn't have a gun. I shouldn't have a concealed carry license. It doesn't prevent me from owning a gun, mind you. Hey, we're coming back. If anyone else has another story, I've only got one more left.
Let's find something. LRN.FM. Cool. That's cam.lrn.fm.
All right. Well, here on CopBlock Radio, we advocate recording the police. It's right there in the main logo. Video camera in a police officer's direction. The goal is accountability. When people can see objective evidence of what police are doing, they often don't like it. And the cops can't lie about it in court, most importantly. But what happens when the police shoot you for recording them? That's right. That's what just happened. Police have now said, oh, you've heard, oh, he pulled for his wallet. I thought it was a gun. Now, it's your video camera. Take a listen to this.
Was a tense standoff in Rancho Cordova that ended with a man being shot by officers. Tonight we're learning that man was an innocent bystander. CBS 13's Anjali Hemphill is in Rancho Cordova getting answers on why officers shot the unarmed man.
I think he stepped out to look, and that's when he got shot.
John Sanchez shows us the aftermath in his garage where his son was shot by police.
They went right through the paneling, hit my car. And they kept going and went out the other side of the wall.
Officers responded to Negrara Way on a report that John's next-door neighbor, Ben Ledford, was firing up to 100 machine gun rounds at a home across the street, killing a dog inside the house. Sergeant Jason Ramos says officers arrived to a chaotic scene.
Needless to say, it took us some time to figure out exactly who had what role in this incident.
Ramos says Ledford surrendered not long after officers arrived, but they spotted John's son Danny in the garage next door, holding what they say looked like a gun. Turned out it was just his cell phone.
He went right over that corner, and he stood there with his phone trying to get some pictures.
But he found himself in the midst of things, and some of his actions were perceived to be threatening.
Ramos says officers fired, hitting Danny in the leg.
They told him they were sorry that he got shot and everything, that they made a mistake.
And just to give you some perspective of the lay of the land here, this is the home where the suspect was shooting that AK-47 out of directly across the street to his neighbor's home that you can see is now riddled with bullets. And next door to the suspect's house, in that garage, is where his neighbor was standing when he was shot by police.
He got too close to where the action was happening.
They didn't have to shoot. That was wrong.
Danny remains hospitalized tonight with non-life-threatening injuries. Meantime, 2 officers who fired are on administrative leave during an internal investigation.
So you saw the video, and for those listening, it was a house away. So is the cop's aim so bad that when he's shooting across the street, he's just spraying and praying like, oh, you know, whoops, it went into the neighbor's yard. You know, I can't control my weapon. It's not like I'm trained and practice with this thing every week, you know. It's not like it's my job to shoot this weapon well. It's just I make a mistake sometimes. You know, I'm sorry.
Hey, hey, in Times Square they shot like 87 bullets, only 1 hit. So
you know, hey,
I'm not that bad.
Right. Hey, look at what we got ourselves compared to. So I just think this is crazy. It honestly makes me afraid to hold a video camera out. I don't know how you could be safer. It's a cell phone. The dude wasn't holding a camera that looked like a gun. I have no idea how you justify this. Not only was he not close to the action like that officer in the video claimed, he was holding a cell phone. I mean, does the officer not have enough training that he can't distinguish between a weapon and a cell phone? Really?
Well, we have a story on CopBlock right now. A guy was shot over a chapstick. So, I mean, anything can be considered a gun to them, I guess, you know, like any object in your hand. I mean, me personally, I was once told by a Parma Heights police officer, it's not a wise idea to point things at cops. I'm like, it's a camera. You can see that it's a camera. It's dark. I don't know what that is. Really? That's the mentality, dude. That's how they think.
Where's the chapstick story? I'm looking that up.
I'm putting it in the chat right now for you.
Oh, okay, sweet. Oh,
I got it pulled up though. It's one of those like egg-shaped ones, you know. Like
oh my God, this is crazy. All right, well let's watch this video real quick.
Yeah,
I haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, that's why I said I wanted you to play the video.
I see a truck, a black like SUV, and it just pulled up and it was going really slow, like it was looking for something. So I was like, I didn't pay it no mind, and I was talking to my friends, and then I turn around and I see a guy in a white like shirt get out, and he's yelling at my uncle, and I'm like, what did he do? I don't know why he's yelling at him. Like he just stepped off his porch, and he didn't do anything, so I don't know why the guy's yelling at him. And then I see the guy when he got out. When I looked over, he had a gun in his hand, and he had his gun. Well, I was watching, and as soon as he got out the truck, he had his gun in his hand, and was just waiting to and then everybody keeps saying that he wouldn't raise his hands. He wasn't resisting. His hand was out of his pocket. One had a cigarette in his hand. The other one, he kept saying it was a chapstick. It was the same thing as this, a little tiny bit bigger. And this is the exact same color. This is what he had in his pocket of his hoodie. And as he pulled his hand out, it was in his hand. But this is what he had. And he told the officer several times, it's a chapstick. All I have is a chapstick. All I have is a chapstick. And when he shot him and he hit the ground, that's what he had in his hand, a chapstick. I didn't understand why he shot him. He only said he kept saying he had a chapstick, and that was it. And he shot him anyway. I don't know why you'd shoot him if he keeps saying he has a chapstick. I don't know how you feel threatened by a chapstick.
And they have traumatized this poor kid for life.
Especially when you have a gun and a taser. And the first thing, he didn't reach for his taser. First thing he grabbed was his gun.
That kid's going to be in therapy a long time.
Yeah, how many of us see that happen?
So they killed him?
I'm not clear on that. Did the guy die?
I'm looking.
He shot his unarmed uncle, according to the story. Quote, I thought he was going to die, 13-year-old John Duvall Jr. said of a Southwestern District Baltimore police officer shooting his unarmed uncle in the leg. Yeah. Crazy. This is a story that just broke today by Asa J. On Monday, the teen was waiting for the 40-year-old John Joseph Rao to walk him home from an art studio after he had just finished class. And after 7 p.m., as Rao was approaching the studio, DeVault Jr., the kid, says he witnessed Commander Major Byron Conway. Let's stop it with all the pomp and circumstance titles.
Well,
How
never
about
mind.
Big Bag Byron Conway? Watch him get out of a black police vehicle, yell, and point his gun at his uncle, and then pull the trigger.
I mean, how about the fact that this is, I mean, when you say Commander Major, to me, that's just somebody that's not like somebody that just graduated the academy that would make a mistake like that. You know what I mean? It's like somebody who should know better, you know, when you say that.
Yeah, that's a good point. For all the credit I don't want to give him with his title, it should indicate to listeners that this guy had some years on the force. This isn't his first week.
Yeah, he should know better, maybe, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
rookie mistake. Whoops, I'm only the Commander Major. Anyone could have made that mistake. He wasn't resisting, the kid said. His hand was out of his pocket. One had a cigarette in his hand, and the other, he kept saying it was chapstick. The teen's mother said her family is infuriated about the situation and claims that police lied. Police lied when they said that Conway immediately gave medical aid to Rao by administering a tourniquet. Instead, the woman asserts that the truth of the matter is that this officer, this law enforcer, this police employee, stood over Rao with a gun and ordered others away as he lay on the street until a medic arrived with an ambulance that tended to the bullet wound. So it was actually the ambulance that treated him. Quote, "It was the same thing as this," and Warren told local reporters as she held up a small ball-shaped container, and listeners and viewers at home had just seen it. This is what he had in his pocket of his hoodie. And Rao told the officers several times that it was chapstick. He said, "All I have is chapstick." And when the police employee shot him and he hit the ground, that's what he had in his hand, a chapstick. Well, how do you explain that to your kids? How do you tell them to run when you see the police?
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now.
Pretty sick story.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
It is crazy. And like I said, they fucked that kid up for life now.
He's never going to trust a cop, that's for sure.
Of course. You know, and that's not the first instance, too. I mean, there was somebody who died just last week of, like, police not letting rescuers fucking do their job. I mean, do their job. They were people that just, you know, thought, hey, there's something going on. I need to help here. And, you know, police ordered them away, and the person ended up dying. You know, I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. I used to watch Cops when I was younger, okay, like the TV show.
Yeah.
And it always bothered me whenever they would shoot someone or whenever someone was in an accident, like if they were doing a chase or something and then the person wiped out, how they would drag the person out of the fucking car. When you're in a car accident, the fucking number one rule for first aid and fucking, you know, like medics and first responders like that, don't move the fucking victim, you know? And it's more important to these cops to put handcuffs on these fucking guys than actually worry about severing their fucking spines because they've been in a fucking accident, you know?
It's their training. It goes right back to the academy. They're trained to be military. They're trained to not have any compassion. Yeah.
I mean, fuck feelings. It ain't even about feelings to me. It's more about, I mean, something like that to me is like, you know, the guy just got in a fucking rollover accident. He was ejected from the vehicle. I don't think he's going to be pulling any fucking guns on you. All right? You know? I mean, if he had the wherewithal to have one on him when he was ejected from the vehicle, you know? I mean,
hey,
like, what are the chances he's going to be capable of using it?
Hey, caller, can you hear me? Hey, caller on the 610 area code. Can you hear me okay?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
You may hear me, but I don't hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's my fault. Let's see what I can do about that.
Hold on. Can you hear me, caller?
No, probably not. That was your friend, I think. It had the same last 4 digits. Can he call in on Skype? I mean, I hear him. He should be able to hear us. Hey, caller. You can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, cool. Thank you for bearing with us. I appreciate you calling in.
I've been trying to call like 15 times.
Yeah, I saw your calls. We were on air, and I accepted your calls, but you were on hold. So
Okay.
I guess you hung up.
That first time probably, or 5th time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't saying nothing and I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
What's up, man? I know who this is.
Yeah.
Yep. Outstanding for Allentown students to stick up for themselves. Outstanding. I give them much, much credit. And for us to be there and show the presence of authority, to let them know who we are and who we know they are, and the officers to step up like that and think they were going to do something, they could have tried.
Yeah, we had he's talking about the student protest we were at, where we formed a line in front of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Allentown City Hall and the Allentown School District.
Hold your thoughts, caller. We're coming back from commercial.
Info.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Just minutes remain in the final segment of CopBlock Radio tonight. If you didn't have time to get your calls in, we do this every Wednesday. Catch us 7 to 9 Pacific, 10 to midnight Eastern. We're also on the radio in some places, so check your dial for CopBlock Radio. Right now, we've got a caller on the line who's been trying to get through, and now he has his opportunity. Caller, you are on the air. What would you like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to say definitely give credit to those kids in Allentown, those students, every single one of them. I am not a student of one of them, but I was there for support, security, and respect for anybody and anybody that was doing their stand towards the city of Allentown to have the kids be heard. And for us, presence of authority that were there and showed the authority figures that we are the authority as much as they are. To wake up Allentown and maybe have these high-class people really look at what they're doing to the kids. But Severin was there, CopBlock guys were there, and parents were there, and they made sure that they was not going to step in, and they did have common sense to not step in and touch any of those kids at any time. And they did have their gloves on, and they were ready. But Severin tried to hand some cops some water the other day, too, and they wouldn't take it. I think the one, was it assistant captain or sergeant, took one piece of water.
Yeah, the police chief took a bottle of water, but the rest of them wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
That's weird. You would think they would do what the police chief would do. Like, you know, they would sort of follow his example and say, hey, if the chief isn't afraid to take water from these guys, why should we be? It's not like you put X-Lax in it, right?
No, we were actually. It was a pretty hot day. The cops were being respectful for the most part, and the police chief spoke to us and said, "We're not going to bother these kids. We're just here to make sure that they don't get hurt, no fights break out or anything." And because there was a number of schools, there was a total of, it was all over all the news. It was a total of like 800 and change kids that walked out of school at second period. It was an organized protest over the conditions of their local schools, and the cops respected their right to protest.
Wow.
Not without. I think that the police realized that they really couldn't do anything. I don't think that they wanted to let these kids walk out. They would have probably liked to have done something, but we were all there. All the kids were encouraged to pull their cameras out. There was a good 1,000 cameras on every cop there. So they were not going to be able to do anything without being all over the news.
You know, one of our listeners in the chat room at copblock.org/show has shared a video with us. We mentioned earlier the man who was shot by police for recording with his cell phone. See now, and hear with your own ears, a cop in full camo gear explaining to a man who's recording him that some cameras look like guns.
I'm gonna tell you what. It's basically a tank. I don't mind you recording that, but you're not gonna point it at me because there are firearms or firearms that are made at devices like that. Listen, so if you want to film all of us, I don't mind that. But we'll set your camera up where it can film all of us. Yes, sir. All right. You want to sit it right here? It'll face this way where we're all talking.
Can I just point it at me?
That's fine.
Okay.
You're not gonna point it at me. That's the safety.
Okay.
It's a safety issue.
I kind of got a bone to pick with this dude who's recording. Like, good on you for recording, first of all. That's the most important thing you could do. But then when a police or a law enforcer says, well, it's a safety issue for you to record me, so you got to turn that around and have it face you. Now, you've done the opposite of what's good. You know, like, it's good that at least you're keeping an objective record on your actions. It's good that you're being accountable. But I think your goal was to film them. And now they've just, through the power of suggestion and their threats of force, made you pretty impotent. So this is not good. You know, this is not what I would want to see from a cop blocker, let's say. First of all, he's got vertical video, which we all know sucks, so turn that thing around. But second, if a cop's like, oh, we don't want you to film, this is a safety issue, you tell him, first of all, say nothing and just keep filming. But second, if you must speak, I'm here to keep people safe. The safety issue is not recording.
Absolutely. It's your right, and every cop at this point knows they are allowed to be recorded. They will try to say these little threats and these little things, but when it comes down to the bottom line, keep that camera on their faces, because if they want it off, there's a reason. They're up to no good.
Sure.
They're going to arrest you. And so just be prepared for that. You know, any confrontation you have with the police, whether you're video recording them or you're just a guy walking down the street, they could arrest you. Remain calm. Say nothing. Once they say you're being arrested, you're being detained, you're not free to go, shut your mouth. Nothing you say can help you in that instance. So for this guy even to acquiesce and say, okay, implies that he's agreeing to this officer's orders. So don't do that. This is not a perfect example of what to do. I have a lot to critique about this video. Anyway, we teased a story about the sorry, I lost track. What was the story that was coming up, Dio? You had one prepared for us, I think? Did I lose it?
Were you going to play that video of the cop talking to the kids, or did you play that already, or no?
I think I lost it. I don't know what you're talking about.
The cop sitting on his hood talking to the kids, loitering and...
Yeah, we started the show out with that.
Okay. That was the only thing I thought we were up to there. But how about I don't have the story up in front of me right now, but I know New Jersey just passed a law that's supposed to give cops widespread powers to search your vehicles and stuff now.
Yeah. That was crazy. But I mean, that's nuts. People can look that one up themselves. I want to give them I want to give you a CopBlock exclusive on my own. We normally start out the show asking, have you been contacted by the government or by law enforcement? I actually have this week, whereas normally I do not get contacted by them. They denied, that they being the New Hampshire Supreme Court, denied my concealed carry license and upheld the decision of the lower court, Judge Burke, who refused to recuse himself despite an obvious bias. If anyone's seen my movie, the dude's bias against me, and I asked him to recuse himself. He's like, oh, I don't have any bias against Mr. Horton. No, I like him. Lying. Yeah.
That judge,
okay, yeah, all right, I believe that.
That judge is biased against all of yous up there, as far as I've been able to tell. I've seen him in several of y'all's videos.
Well, yeah, he sends all my friends to jail.
Is that the same guy that had a demo arrested for asking a question?
Same one, yeah. He's the guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Agreed.
This guy's a class act.
Oh, well, you wouldn't believe that he agreed with the local police chief when the chief decided to deny me. Not because I'm not qualified. I'm not a domestic violence person. I'm not a felon, and I have no mental health issues. So those are the 3 check marks. It's a shall issue state. If those things check out, then you must be issued a permit. Or so I thought. That's what they call it, a shall issue state. But Judge Burke and the higher court said shall not. Because even though I'm allowed to carry a gun, load it all around New Hampshire, openly, I am not allowed to put that same gun in my pocket, in my car, or wear a coat over it, because the local police chief says I'm, quote, unsuitable. He said that because I had a few scuffles with law enforcement, and I don't respect police, that's reason enough to deny me a concealed carry license.
So the judge's decision has no basis in law. That's what you're saying.
No. It's the police chief's decision. So literally I could go to another jurisdiction. I could move to another part of New Hampshire and reapply, and a different police chief could say, yeah, you're suitable, this is fine. It's totally up to interpretation, and which means that law is pointless. I mean, the whole point of law is to have a clear-cut set of rules, not be a rule of man where it's a guy who doesn't like you who just says, fuck you, Derek, I'm retiring in a week anyway, I'll deny your license, and you'll have to deal with it. $5,000 in legal fees, and all your 15 months wasted in and out of court. For what? There's no...
That's been my problem my whole life, man, is not being able to have a clear set of this is what you do, this is what you don't do, because everybody's willing to break both ways. There's people who are willing to overlook that you shouldn't break this law or rule or whatever the fuck it may be, and then there's people that say, you could bend it a little bit. So, I mean, like...
Well, people can get the full story if you want to hear more at my website, TheDerekJ.com. It's just been uploaded with all our CopBlock.org videos. Hey, I want to thank you, Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley CopBlock and Dio of Greater Cleveland CopBlock. Don't forget to check out the CopBlock store, CopBlock.org/store, and we'll see you here next week.
Peace.
Later.
Yeah.